Wow, I have to just tell you, I just so enjoyed this last conversation. And I thought I was strict with my kids, eh? I'm going to go home with a few more minutes. But I wanted to share with you a little bit of a very personal anecdote. Are we in a trusted space here? Just us ladies, just between these four walls. Okay. So I went to the dermatologist. And I went to have my skin checked, and she said, you know, Maya, you've clearly followed a good skin regime. I can see you've been using your moisturizer, you've been using your sunscreen, because, you know, us white people in the sun, it's a problem. And then she said, but, Maya, your neck, you haven't gone, where do you end your beauty regime? And I said, well, yeah, my face. And she said, well, it shows. And she said, I've got bad news for you. You have skin damage and sun damage. So I might just put it in the side. I went home and told my husband this. He said, but Maya, everyone knows you're supposed to keep going all the way down to your chest. And I realized that I should have been taking beauty tips from my husband. But the thing is, the reality is there's nothing I can do. I wish I could go back to the Maya in her 20s and say, please go put sunblock on your neck. But now, the reality is I'm going to one day look like a turkey. And I'm going to have horrible turkey neck. Please don't all start looking at my neck. I'm going to have sewing scarves. I'm shattered. I'm actually shattered. And the problem is, it's the same thing with our money. Because when I'm speaking to women at my age now, you know, in their 50s and 60s, and they're all saying, if only. If only I'd started putting money away in my 20s. Because ladies, there's two things in life that we want. One is beautiful skin, and the other is wealth that pays us a paycheck. Right? Those are the two things we want in life. Now, it's a lot easier to put sunscreen on your neck, okay, than to invest. Because investing means giving up something today for an uncertain future. And let me tell you something about our human brains. We are very badly programmed for this. We are so shockingly badly programmed. I think it's a programming glitch. Because we suffer from lots of psychological problems. And the first is present bias. So present bias means we place more value in today than we do in an uncertain future in a few, I don't know how many years away. Now, that makes perfect sense, because I know what's happening today, I know what's going on, right? I have no idea if I'll even live to that future. I may not even live till tomorrow. So think about all the opportunities I'm missing out if I don't spend my money now. And then there's another psychological problem we have, and that is loss aversion. We hate losing things. We absolutely hate it. So we actually suffer more intense pain from loss than we do joy from gain. So to give you an example, if tomorrow morning you woke up and you discovered someone had hacked your bank account, which by the way is happening all the time, I get all the emails from all the businesses, and 10,000 rands been out your bank account, you will be devastated. The loss will be, you have no idea how upset people get. But what if you wake up tomorrow morning and your no claims bonus has matured and suddenly you have 10,000 rand in your bank account? It'll make you so happy, but that happiness will not be as intense as the fear of that loss. So if I said to you, your current bank statement right now, tomorrow morning, I'm going to flip a coin, and tomorrow morning you're going to wake up, and if it's heads, extra 10 grand in your account. If it's tails, 10,000 rand loss. None of you will take that bet because of the fear of that loss. And that is why we find, we use this a lot in terms of understanding why people sit in cash. We know, I can show you, do you know that the Satrix Top 40, because it's in an article that I wrote on Monday in News 24, the Satrix Top 40 is up 120% over the last 5 years. 120%. If you put your money in 5 years ago, it's up 120%. But we won't go and do that because we're so scared, right? Because markets can go down. And so we sit in cash. So this is a big psychological problem when it comes to investing, but the same psychological problem comes to our day-to-day money. Because we don't like losing. So if I say to you, let me take your current budget and what you're spending, and now suddenly I'm going to take some money out of it for investing. And that means you're going to have to spend a bit less on some clothes or going out. It's going to make you very, very sad. And that is the truth. And a couple of weeks ago, I was speaking at an event, and I don't know if any of the women who were at that event are here today. When I tell them I'm about to speak, but I will, if you were there, you can put your hand up. Because I was asked a question. And the woman who asked me the question said this. She said, why, Maya, should I deprive myself when growing up I had nothing? And now you're telling me I must deprive myself. Anyone who was at that event? And I thought, it was a really good question.
Yeah.
And I thought about it, and I thought, I'm going to talk about that today, because it's a mindset problem. Why do we think about putting money away for our future as depriving ourselves? I'm sure we worked hard at school, we studied at university, we sacrificed time then, we put in extra hours at work, we put in hours to build a business, we upskill. We look after our bodies, we go to gym, we say no to the second donut. Why? Why do we do these things? Maybe the third donut. Why do we do these things? Because we understand them to be investments in our future. Because we want to be the best versions of ourselds. Isn't that what we use? Hashtag, right? Isn't that what we want to be? So what is the best version of ourselves? Is it a 15,000 Rand car repayment every month that's putting us under financial pressure? Or is it building a deposit for your first home? Is it a 60,000 Rand credit card debt and a cupboard full of clothes and shoes that we hardly ever wear? Or is it using the next bonus to kickstart an investment portfolio so that you are a woman who is building her own legacy? So is putting money away a sacrifice or a gift? And you know, this gift was not available for many parents, but it is a gift available for us. It is a gift to being able to change the narrative, to be able to create intergenerational wealth. And this is what we really need to do. We need to stop thinking about it in terms of deprived and sacrifice. And we also need to start understanding the power we are handing over to Instagram images, telling us who we should be and what we need to look like to be successful. We also are handing our power, let me tell you, to those marketing agencies and the investors in the companies that we buy from. The investors in the companies we buy from are the ones who are creating intergenerational wealth. The investors in those companies are going to leave legacy. And this is the difference between being a shareholder and a consumer. And I'm going to tell you a little story. In 2001, the iPod went on sale. Was anyone born in 2001? Who remembers the iPod? Yes! Okay. The iPod was revolutionary. It was the coolest thing that had ever happened. It had this device, it had this dial on it, and you could, listen to music. But the most important thing about it was the white earbuds. Because when people saw you with white earbuds, they then knew that you had an iPod. It was a status symbol. So let's run forward to 2005. How much is the iPod worth today?
It doesn't exist.
It's probably broken, you probably don't even have it anymore. But the iPod went on sale for 3,300 Rand in 2001, which was a lot of money then. So if you had decided, instead of buying the iPod, to invest in Apple shares, does anyone have any idea what that would be worth today? Whoa! There is not a yaw in here that's big enough. Wow! own iPhones?
Oh no, I don't.
The Apple shareholders thank you. They thank me too. So you're going to say, but Maya, you're using a very, very, Apple, it's one of the huge successful companies. It's also American, which means it's dollars, and in 2001 it was worth, the rand was 7 to the dollar, and now it's 18, and blah, 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 blah. You'll come up with your excuses. But if I could go back to 2001, I wouldn't have put my money in Apple. Where I would have put my money? Capitec listed in 2002 for R2 a share. When I did the slide a few days ago, it was worth 3,469 rand a share. And do you know why Capitec and Apple have done so well? Because we borrow money from Capitec to buy iPhones. So ladies, I know it's okay to be a consumer, but you also need to be an investor. You need to start owning the companies that you are buying from. And by the way, I do want to say that I'm not promising you these returns going forward. Disclaimer. But the very point is, the top 40, 120% up in 5 years, over time, investments matter. So what I am asking you to do is to invest in yourself. And this doesn't necessarily mean denying yourself, okay? It's about having a plan and knowing what really matters to you. And I want to ask you this question. What legacy do you want to leave? A fleeting image on Instagram, or someone who is changing the narrative for future generations? And that is the question I'm going to leave you with.